Welcome back to another schematic mental toughness download, mental health, super channel and study. I am your fellow journeyman in this excellent study of mental potential, mental trajectory, mental construction, right? Construction of mental toughness and mental health far beyond the status quo, into authentic, legitimate leadership roles, ushering us into this dynamic, new, free, and many other things, age and time. But today we're just going to really focus on character and decoding any deception, right? Why being completely married to valiance, cowboy, we get pretty cowboy on this channel. I should probably just say parental advisory, knight, really not the faker, but the real John Wayne of our lives, right? We've all got a really empathetic, even though some of us don't like that word, but understanding, stand up and does what's right when it's time for that. When it's time to stand up and do the right thing, he does it. When it's time to say the truth nobody else really wants to say, he does it. When it's time to call out the trust-breaking situations that are going on, he's the defender of trust in general, right? He's committed to making sure there's an equal playing field and that everybody's playing by the golden rule, right? There's deceivers out here, they don't play by the golden rule. They're happy to have a win-lose. Even as nonchalant as maybe a liquor store, that is still a win-lose. Or a casino is still a win-lose. Or a OnlyFans, it is still a win-lose. And each one has its own other layers of filth associated with it. But when it's the common culture, when the old West, land of enchantment, Billy the Kid days, they had their cultural toxicity, they had their control freaks and their freedom uprisings, right? Legendary today, but if they're going on right next to you, we love Braveheart in the movie, but if he's sitting right next to us, we're probably hating on him. Keep the girls away. Badmouth him. He's a creepy. All this small, jealous-minded, separatist stuff, right? That's why you also have to be very wary of anyone who starts to engage in sensationalism. These lighter areas of foul play, right? Of not super clean, not super committed to giving us the very best example, the very best education, the very best school, passing on the very best of information. We've got enough from news media of negative cycles and occurrences on the daily, and there's no counterbalance logically for that. There's no insane intent and obsessed focus on the positive, beautiful things that happen in the human experience being televisioned into your house every day. That's not what your favorite intelligent podcaster is looking at either, right? So on this experimental Schematics channel, I definitely want to keep us pointed and cognated in the positive direction. That's what nature would have you cognated for. But we won't get stuck there, even though, remember that I said it is the final destination. But trying to take from A to Z in one video, it's not smart. It's too hard to communicate, right? So we gotta break it up in brick by bricks. We gotta break it up into, right now, Keep your character clean so that you can decode deceptions, so that you can be the bright, shining beam of clarity. And we don't even know. We just know that we don't become anything. We continue to overcome all things and just focused on the light, seeking for truth and jacking any kind of known, discovered, deception, the effects of the deception, and the deceiver. That's really, truly, if the Masaru Emoto water picture tests of 2008 teach us anything, that would be a surefire way to start changing your molecular presence, that metaphysical presence that was you before you were physical and will be you after you were physical, according to quantum physics. But again, let's come back to narrowing the focus. We can kind of just logically reason that real John Wayne, old school dude who does the right things, who tells the truth even when it costs him, to have that principle above all other things, that old cowboy code, that old Spartan code, that old Native American code. We actually have all had the code everywhere. We can get back to that code. That's where we need to get back to. And so that's why I keep saying all the time, we really actually need you to just, most people who say they're going to commit to a completely honest and valiant lifestyle and purpose, they're lying. That's super unfortunate. That's very interesting about the times. You know, you really gotta, as the smartest person I know, my father says, you really gotta pay attention to their actual skills. Because if they're excellent mouth sounders and mouth servicers, is really what it is, and they've got the order by chaos thing going on, there's drama with them, you found them to be deceptive in all kinds of different ways, not just shrouding themselves in bullshit, but in many other ways as well. Ese es un propósito. Ese es un propósito completamente. All right, let me take a minute to show you some things I use. This is not produced by us, but this is a good one, and you can get it by diverse manufacturing, right? Here's another one. Will really improve your gym performance. These are all natural elements right here. I'll put the links below for CoQ10, all right? You really want this, all of us, because something that's been damaged is intravascular and heart health with everybody by these bad oils. So you definitely want to get off the bad oils. CoQ10, that is a helpful supplement. This functional mushroom blend, another helpful supplement. Links below. We have a brain support complex. No brainer, time tested, long time ingredients that enhance brain activity. No brainer there. We got the creatine. All right, definitely you can, for 6 weeks at a time, I will use the creatine. The pre-workout, the watermelon flavored, beach ready, beach run ready pre-workout. South American coffee, better known. Stuff smells so delicious. I don't even drink coffee. I just put the bag in my kitchen and it smells insane. Links are below for those no-brainer, time-tested performance and longevity, overall health, increasing nutritional elements. I'm not bringing you some new miracle. These are just time-tested, well-sourced ingredients. You definitely want to do this, processed by the liver, consumed correctly before you would want to try any other kind of this, okay? Don't be very wary of this moving forward. And every dispensation, reason, and cause is too contaminatable. It's really too contaminatable. And now it's being thrown around what they're wanting the mass consumer to receive. And if they can get it to be received in this delivery method, all right, like enough said there. Keep it natural, keep it organic, keep yourself, your blood, all that clean, inoculated only with natural stuff. And there's links below to nutritionaldiversity.com where you can really become part of a culture who knows how to make their inner gut culture complete, robust. And this is number one in mental health. And you're never going to hear it on a mental health channel or from a mental health professional who, just like the physical health professionals, have us in the worst rate of physical health ever. We are, especially in the United States, in the worst mental health ever. And that is why I come to you from the beautiful, majestic mountains of Panama, where I've got turnkey alternative plan B agricultures, and you're not bothered till you have your own agriculture all across Central and South America. Nutritionaldiversity.com for more about what I was telling you before, that ultimate destination. The journey is that ultimate journey. Hua, back to decoding the deception all over the board. Well, the first thing is, if you didn't see it, if you didn't do an intense investigation on it and look at all the facts, or you didn't see someone who did, which could be biased, right? You want to see multiple peoples who did, and you want to do intense audit of each single thing, because I've seen liar, and this is the thing that I have referenced in past videos. We're not going to get stuck here, but how Candace Owens' intense dissection of these persons' moves, revealing how, because most of these deceptive people, they've got stacks of lies, man. They've got stacks of lies. And while some people, Maddie, Anti-Alienation Project expert who's seen this deceptive behavior pattern and deceptive construct, Kia Karlberg, links below as well, to be able to really get your homework done and be able to recognize these behavior pattern recognitions that are so important, right? Just like these ideological importances that are so important, these fundamental, basic importances, such as if you haven't run the investigation, if you haven't inspected it yourself at depth, if you didn't witness the actual event that's being discussed, if that's the case here, then you don't know. You just know that people said things, that people wrote things, that people constructed things. That's really all you know. And if you're to attach any emotion, or investment further than that, well, an old school Jedi is bound to look at you through the corner of his eye, just a little bit. And these really truly are Jedi understandings. And I say that because not a lot of people have them, right? They're very rare understandings. And that's part of the gig too, is control freaks who are not interested in your freedom. In fact, they're interested in your non-freedom, your control. Then they don't want you to be able to focus on the reality of the situation. They don't want you to be able to focus on your higher purpose. I'm going to say that again. They don't want you to be able to focus on your higher destiny, true purpose, which is just living in truth, living in truth, living in truth, living in truth. Because if you're doing that, and everybody's doing that, there's no way they can control us. If everyone's super married and committed to valiance like the old school cowboy was, it's going to be very hard to control us. However, if we're distracted from that strength, if we're over domesticated, super weak, taking toxins, reading toxins, living toxins, living toxic constructs, all with our hand in the dirty somehow along the chain. Whether it was our choice or not, we always have the choice to make a right turn and do what's right and say what's true in the face of thousands of people who are unable to do so. You've always got that potential, right? It's just a matter of strength. It's just a matter of fear. It's a matter of consequences too, sure. It's a matter of the control freaks really do have their grip, no doubt. The worst thing that can happen to you, trust me when I tell you this, in this control freak slave game, that's what we live now, is you become one of the slave masters. That's the worst thing that could happen to you. Here in this video at the halfway point is where I introduce the idea that we cultivate rather than control. Cultivators, I want you to be free. I want you to be strong. We are a symbiotic relationship. I want this for my nutrition that I'm going to eat. But not even that, for the plant species that I'm going to exist with, for the entire organ that I call my farm, patch of land, area, atmosphere, earth, world, existence, experience, life, whatever mouth sound you want to put to it, however closely zoomed or bird's eye view you want to look at it from. It should be all of that, right? You should have a dynamic experience that encompasses all the bright learning bandwidth and spectrum available for you to do so. A full life. Imagine that. I met guys in Philadelphia where I made Philadelphia homicides, where I produced. I was the producer of a film that many kids worked on called Philadelphia Homicide City, Money, Murder, and Politics. They still use it in the prison systems there. It was voted into the Music Hall of Fame or award show of that year as best documentary. There's a point on it where you see me with a non-existent, with a ghost on my shoulder. And yeah, it was a really outside cultural experience that not a lot of people from the land of enchantment end up having. You know, I'm really lucky to always be a mover and a shaker and have a worldwide, a couple times around now, experience in life. And that I kind of fumbled myself into paying very deep attention to nature. In fact, even a small adaptation to it, I'm eager to adapt a little further to the living cognition. All supplements need to be mixed with living, fibrous food, by the way. That's the excellent way to take supplements, so that the powders can bind with these fibers as they go through the system. Nobody really tells you that one either. You just get all the gemstones here. Like, subscribe. So, now that we're cultivators and we're winners that want to see everyone win, live free. This is so important. Live free and be enabled to be artistic and express yourself truly. Huge. And nobody is able to do this now. But this is what we need you to do. Us winners who want you to be a winner too. We need you to step up into authenticity, and listen, you will fry the minds of every small jealous worm. As Einstein tells us, one of the grand teachers, not quite the grand teacher, which is right here in front of us everywhere, but he does tell us, pay deep attention to nature. The universe done everything better. Here I go, A to Z again, trying to trying to keep it in this brick by brick bandwidth spectrum at the moment. It's like a prism focus in to do. So now that we're cultivators, we want to enable, we want to prepare a food for our living species and ideas. We want to be patient, plant seeds. Sometimes the ground is hard and you got to the seed, the plant, throughout the entire course of its life, it can clearly benefit from human involvement. Just to catch you up on that. It can clearly benefit. Mike Tyson, my favorite Mike Tyson quote is no Custo Amato, no Mike Tyson. Custo Amato is the man who adopted several young men from the hood and gave them a chance at becoming boxing professionals, and many of them did, and one of them became Mike Tyson, a champion of champions in the Hall of Champions, right? An aggressive, would have been just another thug in jail for the rest of his life, except for the involvement of this cultivator, right? Cultivators cultivate miracles. Control freaks mess up everything. And they want war and crazy, sick, weird, sideways agendas. And they're willing to cost so many lives and so much horrific stuff just for these little benefits for them. This is how entitled and insane and narcissistically constructed and constructing these demonic individuals are, who are just simply on the dark side of this spectrum that I keep talking about. Carl Jung says you go so far here, it allows you, the tap root, as deep as the deepest roots, can be as high as the highest branches. Carl Jung and Napoleon Hill are two mental toughness installations that should be in the headphones for a certain amount of each day going forward after seeing this video. Because if someone like me tells you to do something like that and you can't do it for just a certain amount every day, who are you? You need to be able to constantly implement without dire consequences forcing you to do so. That's a growing individual with growth written all over them, going straight to the top. We can all see it. Some of us losers who want to see everyone lose, our mind fries. Their mediocre minds will always give violent opposition to great spirits. That comes with the territory. You got to have a very definite understanding of this polar and positive. And once again, I'm not robbing, you always wonder. The contrast is this Jordan Peterson quote, which I also love, is be careful of unearned wisdom. But what am I telling you throughout this entire video? You can study, you can hear, but until you experiment, until you've got your hands in it, you can't talk. That wouldn't be authentic, would it? That wouldn't be honest. That wouldn't be right. That's one of many things that wouldn't be. And there's also tons of things that would be. Get your hands dirty. Take the time to train. Before I ever made a self-development video, I did 3 years just doing self-development with guys, filling 15 notebooks every single day in a self-developed mastermind that still goes on. We did one this morning. 5 of us. That's another thing we need to do. The right thing to do now is get with other people like you and start to cultivate them. Inspire them. Let's do this. You got to do what you say you're doing, or who are you? Don't say it. Come on. Get it together. All these people saying all this stuff that they're not going to do, that supposedly happened and didn't. What? No deception. Now is an excellent opportunity. If angels are flying above saying, no. Whoa. This guy, this gal, this little one, this You know, they committed to deception to the point of finding a deception, or they committed to valiance and honesty to the point of any deception that crosses their path, they pick that thing up into pieces and put all the pressure on it. It needs to explode so that we know that's not a diamond, man. And then, oh, look at that. What's the formation of the human diamond? What's that process is? Are you even? Tell me in the below. What's the process? What is the process? If one person can tell me off of our really small diamond and the coal vein crew here, you know, what would be the leading process to make the hardest, most shiny, most valiant, most incredible, leading, cut through everything else individual? What will be that, you know? I like I said, just because it's the modern, Candace Owens didn't just one day, I'm going to pick this person apart. No, she's been she's been analyzing truth for lies specifically. I could see it written all over her. For so long, she can see lies you won't be able to see until you do the Jedi training she's done. Chase Hughes, Richard Grannon, Kia Carlberg. Pay attention to those names. All right, I'm going to finish with the number one name, okay? And this name holds so much weight and has saved my life over and over and over. If I was going to tell you the truth as I know it, the number one truth that I really need to tell you as I know it is the name Jesus Christ holds so much weight. That story is so important. Our respect for him and appreciation and humility towards the very grandest teacher is of the utmost pinnacle importance to a valiant man or woman, period. There is a higher energy that we are tapping into, an intelligence far more incredible than us. If you don't know it, you've got so much to learn. And if you do, I'm glad you found this channel. Stay with us as we continue to really become diamonds ourselves with this true commitment. If that's you, I'm glad you're here. And in the name of Jesus Christ, thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, we love you, we love you. And we will say the rest of that with our actions. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Remember, an idea doesn't make enterprise. Idea combined with action. Intention doesn't make the beautiful garden of wonderment, blah, blah, blah. No. Ridiculous action. And you're going to perform this ridiculous action for a control freak or for a free destiny path. They're going to leverage your labor, or you're actually going to be able to express it's one of the two, right? You're going to make the mark of being able to express yourself. Completely true. No fear of criticism, no fear of nothing. You know what you got to do, and you're going to do that authentically, and you're going to make every step before the big steps authentic too, because it's all so important. Your mission's that big, right? And then you're not going to fall short of that commitment, or you are. So you go to nature, you know what you got to do. You decide, first of all, am I down with lies and deception and all that? Or am I not? And then you hold that line. And if you do, you know, if you believe in God and angels or whatever, that is what you will do. Especially after this one. Hua, let's go.